Hello, just hope you're all enjoying the festive season. This is just a little short Qigong video. I'm not sure how long it will be once I get started. I thought it might be nice just to give you an opportunity, give myself an opportunity to settle a little bit. Sometimes during this sort of season we can be in a rush everywhere, going around, seeing people and the changing routine and so on. And this really is just a reminder for those of you who've got some experience with Tai Chi of these, some of the qualities of Tai Chi and Qigong that we can begin to carry with us. By no means meant to be a kind of killjoy or anything like that. So just a few minutes to ground, to center, to calm down. Qualities that actually I find do help us to enjoy the other parts of our lives even more. If you're new to this, it's just a nice gentle introduction to the whole spectrum really of the art. These are the basics, the foundations that everything is based on in Tai Chi and Qigong. So start off with just standing comfortably, rubbing your hands together and with the pads of your fingers tapping lightly over your face. Nice steady rhythmic movement. Work up over your head and neck. And then down to one shoulder. Just noticing how your muscles vibrate when you do this. Going down the arm, feeling that vibration going down right into your fingers. And then the other shoulder. And bring your hands round to your back. One hand or both hands, fine. Just tapping gently the lower part of your back. And then going around your hips. Down the outside of your legs and up the inside. You can actually do this in any order, in any way. I do it in a particular way because it's how I remember it, usually. Light on your belly. And then on to the upper part of your chest. So standing with your feet directly below your hips and try and have your toes pointing forward as much as possible. Try and have your weight a little bit forwards. This is exaggerated. And just in the feeling of just loosening in your hips, allowing your hips to drop back. Sitting in to your legs. Very slight curve in your knees. And whether you're new or more experienced to this, just ease into the postures. Don't feel you have to go for them straight away. Nothing is hurried in Tai Chi. And in this posture, just bringing your attention to the middle part of your body between hips and pelvis and waist, and turning there and letting that turning movement move your arms for you. Arms hanging nice and loose by your sides. And as always with these movements and with these postures, we can engage with them at whatever level of experience we have. There's always, what seems to me to be the potential for knowing more about even the most simple of exercises. If you haven't done this before, just focus a little bit on the sense of the movement, a nice easygoing movement, a rhythmic movement that seems to connect the whole of your body. If you've got more experience in Tai Chi, you may notice subtle changes in the patterns of movement within your body. You may feel a sense of dropping becoming stronger, so that this feeling of rooting down and your centre of gravity dropping that offers us both a sense of stability, but also is part of a cycle of movement, of energy downwards through your body with the pull of gravity, and then the push up that comes from that. Significantly for all of us, really moving from that centre part of your body. So it's that centre part that drops towards the ground, it's that centre part that directs your arms. So terms like being rooted, being grounded, take on a very physical meaning for us in Tai Chi. And as always, at whatever level of experience you have, a key thing is just to try and maintain a focus of your attention, bringing into the front of your mind an awareness of posture, of movement, how your body feels. One of the key things I think that these things give us, one of the key outcomes, is this sense of stillness at the heart of the movement. So we're not just simply doing nothing, but there is a still point, like the hub of a bicycle wheel, that we move from. Turning your hands palm up, raising them up a little bit. Try not to stiffen up in your shoulders. And then your hands drop down. Now changing the stance for a few moments, turn one foot out, step forwards, keep the width of your stance, and now make a particular point of moving from the ground. To start off with, you can think of this as a gentle push from each leg. And that's always a useful thing to do for all of us, to remind ourselves that we move from the ground. So this idea of being grounded is often related to being something like a sort of tree with deep roots, which is a lovely image. But remember, trees don't move around. We do. So we want to take that idea of being rooted into something a little bit more dynamic, and it's so you could just think of a gentle push. Again, people with more experience, you may recognise the springiness in your legs. Trying not to lead from the upper part of your body, it's not your shoulders, your upper body. Just again, sitting into your legs, and that little bit of a turn causing your arms to swing around. One thing about these faster exercises, they can actually make you aware of qualities and principles that we want to try and find in the slower exercises. The sense of momentum that moves through your body is just a faster form of energy. The rhythm of the movement helps with this sense of connection through the body, and so on and so forth. Now change over, try that a little bit on the other side. Always very carefully, gently listening to your body. Are there areas of tightness and stiffness? And just go very gently, trying to get a sense of movement around those areas rather than straining with them. Think of a rock in the riverbed with water flowing over and the water gradually smoothing out that rock. So, into the slower exercises, and to begin with, feet in parallel stance. Don't overdo these movements, even if you're more experienced. There's a good chance at the moment that you're a little bit out of practice, so you'll soon get that conditioning back, but don't hurry the process. So wait a little bit forward, hips dropping back, letting your hips sink down a little bit more, feeling that stronger resilience in your legs that eventually just pushes you up until gravity takes over and once again pulls you down. Bringing your hands around as though you're cradling the ball, and as you push up, like a wave coming up, pushing the ball up and then sinking down. For those of you who don't know the movements, this exercise is simply called rooting down. Rooting down is one of the key principles in Tai Chi. Lowering of our centre of gravity, but also guiding our attention down into the ground for a moment. So both mind and body beginning to settle together. One more of these. At the bottom of the movement, rotate your arms so your fingers push away. Now your arms being pushed away from your body, swinging up. This is the wild goose. So strongly associated with this is that image of the bird in flight, if that's a useful image for you. We use a great deal of imagery in Tai Chi, but remember the images are there to serve the movements. So if an image doesn't work for you, you don't have to make use of it. It's one of the ways that we make this link, this connection between mind and body. But don't let the images distract you. Try and just keep that sense of your body in the foreground of your mind. And then this time, your hands drop down, cross in front of your belly, parting the clouds. Sort of expansive, opening movement, but not a stretch. Again, one of the features of the posture is that we begin to get a feeling of spaciousness within the body for movement of one kind or another, be it the movement of the joints or the flow of energy or our breathing. And we want to maintain that as we go through the movements. And then this time, as you come down, curl your hands under, and just a few rounds of joining these movements up in a little sequence. First of all, rooting down, not hurrying the changeover, get that sense of just settling into the ground. Turn your fingers out and go into the wild goose. And then as your hands come back level with your hips, dropping down and to parting the clouds. And then start the whole cycle over again. You may find that your breathing regulates nicely and smoothly with the movements, in-breath to out-breath, no particular pattern. You may also find at times that you perhaps need to take an extra breath and do so calmly. Don't hold your breath, don't strain for your breath. Let's just do one more round of this. And stand. Good. Now, once again, back into this forward stance. This should be roughly square in dimension, so as though your feet are on the diagonal corners of a square, keeping the width of the step. You can see the background between my legs. And once again, just a gentle movement forwards and backwards. You're going to about 60% of your weight in your front leg, and when you go back, about 70 in the back is all. So don't lean, don't strain for this. Just try and get that steady rhythmic flow from one foot to another, from one leg to another. And just taking just a moment each time to land in the leg, to settle into the leg. So you don't want to go from forwards, backwards, you go forwards, and just settle in, go backwards, just settle in. Once again, highlighting this sense of the stillness that is such a key part. This is an exercise that repays much practice. But we're not going to do this for too long. We're going to generate the movement in the legs into the upper body. So this time, let your arms drop down to your sides. As you go forwards, they get left behind slightly, but then as you land in the front foot, they swing through. And then the same idea going back. This is called fisherman cast the net. Imagine doing this in water, so the resistance of the water just very slightly delays your arms. And we start to get this wave-like fluid movement, not just around the body, but through the body. Nice and loose in your shoulders. Don't let your arms swing up too high. Notice they just naturally curve. Fisherman cast. Good. Okay, and then change over, and same thing on the other side. First of all, not the arms, thinking about what's happening in the lower part of the body. You can do longer with any of these movements if you wish. You can just pause the film if you feel as though you're being hurried too much. Now, just letting your arms come into the movement once again, fisherman cast. And then bring just to finish this little session, we'll do the exercise Embrace Tiger, Return to Mountain, where we put the emphasis on this idea of the settling and coming back. So back to the parallel posture. Let your hips sink down. And as you push up, once again, your arms coming out, but this time at the top of the movement, bring them around as though you're going to hold a ball against your chest. Drawing in and then letting your hips drop, your shoulders drop, your arms follow, and then once again that feeling of just settling at the bottom of the movement, letting your arms drop down, and then push up. Good exercise to remember, showing us how we can just get that sense of returning to that connection with the ground, with the centre of our body, with the root. Qualities of stillness, spaciousness that we associate with that. And then stand. Once again, bringing the awareness of your body, whatever way suits you, to the front of your attention. Front of your mind. Thank you very much for watching and joining in, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your festive season, however you see it, however you behave during it, whatever you do. We'll be back in the new year with our full range of online and in-person classes. If you're new to this and you want more information, please feel free to get in touch, and we'll be happy to provide that. But for now, once again, thank you very much, and have a great time.